Well, guys, it finally happened. In the year of our Lord, 2026, at a Nintendo Direct of all places. Did anyone expect this? Uh, we got a Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, which is mind-boggling. I mean, out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, we get an update to this game, which we haven't seen in 4 years, at the unlikeliest of places. I mean, I was expecting to see it at D23 this year. This trailer would not have surprised me at D23, but now I'm thinking they're releasing this with very little Disney in it, and at D23 we're going to get a first look at potential worlds in the game. And that makes me think release next year, which is crazy. Now, I could be completely wrong. Um, if we look at the pipeline of Kingdom Hearts 3 from its first real gameplay trailer, it was still like 4 years before we got the game after that. But I don't know. This looks good, man. This looks really good. And it's simultaneously releasing on every platform, which is crazy. So let's break it down. Let's talk about the trailer. We're gonna go through it very slowly, and we're just gonna kind of work our way through um, talking about the potential uh, secrets that the trailer holds, and then also the things that it is very obviously telling us about the game. So first off, I'm keeping the audio muted for potential copyright reasons, but this character, this female character, um, is potentially a number of different people. We'll kind of keep going through it. She says the structure of this world is incredibly complex. So this is interesting. At first, there were no manifestations of what we know as light and darkness. But our arrival here brought those concepts with us. So that's very interesting because I don't know if that means when she says our arrival, I don't know who she's talking about. I don't know if she's talking about Sora and company. I assume she's talking about others long before that, because we know that certain characters are from here that end up in the mainline Kingdom Hearts universe as we know it. We'll talk about some of those characters coming up here. So this is a very interesting line. I think when she says our arrival, she probably means like the first to ever arrive in Quadratum. Um, sort of the first to bleed over from the main Kingdom Hearts universe, but we don't know when that happened, or who it initially was. It might have been this character, this girl that we don't know much about, or it could have been other characters. We're not sure, but this is a very interesting line. The fact that this dark side has this like sort of corruption effect all over the buildings and stuff is also very interesting. This is a very different style of Heartless than we're used to. Part of it is that the game wants to show off its graphical fidelity, so there's lots of particles and lots of weaving of the darkness and things like that, lots of effects. But I think it's interesting that it looks the way that it does. The darkness given physical form only after we defined it. So, what this also makes me think is that one of the, or maybe many of the 13 original darknesses from the uh, Union Cross era, the key Union Cross era, ended up here and then became a physical form when someone else came here in order to fight that darkness. So, a theory that I've had is that maybe one of the 13 darknesses fled here or was sent here to Quadratum, and then the Master of Masters arrived and in that battle between the Master Masters and the Darkness, it was given physical form, and that's what we're seeing as like the Heartless of this realm. So this character is very interesting. We don't know much about her. I would have to look up the voice actress that is playing her. I'm not sure who it is. That might give us some insight as to who the character is. But she clearly has knowledge of Quadratum, and I think this is one of maybe two or three characters. So the first person that this could be is Skuld. So we know that Skuld kind of got sent into a different time at the end of Union Cross using one of the pods. We don't know where she ended up. It's possible that she ended up in the sort of modern Kingdom Hearts era and became Subject X. That's one possibility that's been thrown around, and that has always sort of tracked. But she also could have ended up here somehow, or she could have ended up here after being Subject X. This could also be, and this is my current favorite for who this character is. I think this is Master Ava. Um, I think she probably found a way here, and the reason she's wearing the coat is like for protection during the travel and also to conceal her identity. That would be my current guess as to who this is. We know that the other foretellers are going to be sort of the main villains of this game, just based on what Nomura has said, and so I would be willing to bet that Master Ava will be like an ally in the game, sort of fighting against the other foretellers, but they may like save that reveal for later in the game, and I think that's a good reason to hide her identity. So Skuld, Master Ava. Another option could be this could be a new character that we don't know anything about. This could be Kairi. This could be I mean, I guess there's a few other characters, but those are probably the most likely. So I would say it's most likely Skuld, Master Ava. Those are the two big ones, and then the others are sort of less likely. So very interesting that we got the beginning of the trailer with this girl. All right, so we got this dark side. We've seen portions of this. Strelitzia has like a kind of a new design. They changed some of her facial features, but we can definitely recognize this as Strelitzia. We don't know who she's looking at. We don't know who this is. This is a new character, as far as I know. No idea who this guy is, but some interesting things about him. His garb. So he's wearing this purple jacket with a tie. He looks very much like a regal character, and I would hazard a guess to say that he's some sort of like official or important figure in Quadratum. He also seems totally unperturbed by the dark side, which is currently ravaging Quadratum at this point in time. He's just sort of walking casually past it. We'll talk about that character in a second. He seems like totally unperturbed, which makes you think that he has some knowledge of the dark side and knew it was coming, or is otherwise knowledgeable of what's happening. And so either a bad guy or someone who is just sort of um not concerned because maybe he knows that he's going to be able to fight the dark side back, or maybe he knows that Sora's there or something like that, but he just seems very smug about the whole thing. This character, okay, well, I got to back up. This, I think, is a Keyblade. Oops. Can I go frame by frame? This is definitely a Keyblade. Yeah, you can see the keychain at the very end. So this is a Keyblade wielder. He's wearing a mask on purpose so that we don't know exactly who it is. But the jacket is very Noctis coded. If you look at the jacket, it's got like the trimming and stuff that is very much Noctis coded. And we know that elements of Final Fantasy Versus 13 are going to end up in this game. Obviously, we already have confirmation of that from like the end of Remind and the trailers and stuff like that. So this character feels ripped sort of straight out of Final Fantasy Versus 13. It's not Yozora because he doesn't have the monochromia. His eyes are the same color, but he looks like a character that might have been straight out of Missing Link. Uh, Definitely a Keyblade wielder, but we don't know much about this Keyblade. It's hard to kind of get a good angle at it. Like, I can't tell what this keychain emblem is. The Keyblade itself is... Oh, that's probably the best look we're going to get at it. He's holding it backwards. Yeah, I don't know much about this Keyblade. It's very interesting. This almost looks like the all-seeing eye, but I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could see what this is. It looks like some sort of purple gem, but we don't know much about it other than that. So, yeah, very interesting, this character. We have no idea who it is, but that he is a Keyblade wielder is obviously important. This is clearly Luxord, or it could be Luxord post Nobody having reformed with his body, or this could be Luxord pre being nobodied. But this is clearly Luxord, which is great. I mean, we knew that he was going to be a big part of the game and that this is where he's from. He gave Sora the get out of jail free card at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. We knew that was going to come into effect at some point in time. So this will clearly be a very important character. Couple interesting things to note. He also has this trimming on his jacket that's very similar to this character. Now, it's really interesting because this character, if we know anything about Noctis and Final Fantasy 13, this character feels like he should be the stand-in for Noctis here, which means that this is potentially royalty or at least someone important to the city of Quadratum. And Luxord would then fit the bill of being one of two characters in this case, either King Regis, or the character that ended up becoming King Regis in Final Fantasy 15, which is very interesting, or he could be like one of the companions of the main character of Final Fantasy Versus 13, Noctis, or Yozora, or whoever. We also know that in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, Yozora says something along the lines of, "This isn't what I really look like. This isn't like the person you're seeing isn't really me." And there's lots of different reasons why he could have said that, lots of different things that he could be potentially implying there. But this could be Yozora. And it's possible that the reason he doesn't have the monochromia yet is because maybe he hasn't been affected in some way that made him look like the Yozora that we've seen from Remind. So I don't know. There's a possibility that this is Yozora, uh, like sort of pre whatever that event was. And then Luxord, again, he has very similar garb on, so he is clearly related to that character, and they have some connection to each other. I would think that Luxord is either, again, part of like the protectorate of the royalty character, or a companion of some kind, or like a mentor of some kind to this character, would be my guess. This character does not have that same color scheme and that same garb, which makes me think that this character is not related to them in that way. Uh, Still has like the nice sort of suit and tie look, but this purple effect on the clothing, not having that black and white trimming on everything, makes me think that he is separate. I think this could be like an antagonist character to this character, and Luxord as like the sort of protagonists. And they could be like dichotomous. That would be my current guess. This we would think is the Master of Masters, though this could be any number of characters. The black feathers that are falling are very interesting. We don't really know why that's a thing. When you think of black feathers falling, a lot of the time you'd think of like Sephiroth, which, I mean, he could be relevant here. We don't know, but we would think this is the Master of Masters, but just not 100% sure, and there's not much to go on here. Brief flash of Donald and Goofy in what we presumably Hades. This is clearly the Hades flame. I love the effect of the flame here, that it's like partially 2D. Oh man, we gotta get to that. That's like partially 2D effect. It's very cool. Okay, when Nomura released that key art of Xehanort with the umbrella in the rain, I was like, this is cool, but irrelevant. I was like, it like is an interesting little throwback to the Xehanort saga, sort of Dark Road coded. Didn't think it had anything to do with Kingdom Hearts 4. Oh boy, was I wrong. It is clearly part of Kingdom Hearts 4. And the fact that he dropped that art, and that he knew that this exact frame was going to show up in this trailer, he was cooking a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. This is clearly young Xehanort and the umbrella with the rain from that key art that was dropped, and he's sort of holding this umbrella over Sora. Sora seems like sort of dejected here, and Xehanort's covering him from the rain. I think so. There's a couple theories here. Oh man, there's so much to this, but there's a couple theories here as to what's going on. I personally think that young Xehanort's going to act as like sort of a spirit guide to Sora over the course of Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't think Xehanort's going to be like a main character of the story. I don't think he's going to be like a character that influences the events of the story too much, because we had the Darkseeker saga and Xehanort's time in the spotlight is done. But he's clearly still here. He's around, and I think he's going to act as sort of like like a spirit guide, a guardian angel, maybe even like you know, a mentor style character for Sora. That's kind of my expectation. One of the things that could become very interesting, this game clearly is about death and what happens to you after death. And I've always kind of had this theory that this is where Kingdom Hearts was going, but I think Quadratum being the place where dead characters go is going to be a critical theme in the remainder of the game, including in the Disney worlds and the places that they go with that. I think we are definitely getting Coco, for example, as a Disney world, Pixar world, because it is about death and the afterlife and places we go after we die. I think that's like a very clear parallel with that theming. And so we'll definitely get Coco. And don't worry, I'll get to the point. I think tangentially, we're also going to get Moana, but for a different reason. And then I think we're definitely going to get Star Wars. It's basically soft confirmed. We almost know for a fact we're going to get Star Wars based on that uh, foot of a robotic figure that looks suspiciously like an ATST in the original Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer in the woods. The reason I bring that up is because in not only is Star Wars like such an obvious allegory for light and darkness and like the good and evil struggle that Kingdom Hearts has always been about and balancing those things, but also Force Ghosts are like an important piece of Star Wars, and there are characters that become mentor like characters through death using the Force in Star Wars. And I think we have sort of a similar situation here with young Xehanort and Sora. I think young Xehanort could potentially be a Force Ghost mentor style character for Sora in this game, and that could be drawn as a parallel to the way that Force Ghosts tend to function in Star Wars. Would not surprise me at all if those things sort of collide thematically in this game. So that's my current theory. That could be totally off base. I could be completely wrong. Young Xehanort could be an extremely important character. Um, could have more to do with this than any of us realize, but that's just my current theory on young Xehanort's position in the game. And I think part of that comes from the fact that he is shielding Sora from the rain here. He's sort of acting as a protector in this particular and a comforting figure in this particular sequence. And that just implies to me that that's the direction the game is going. Okay, we gotta talk about this. Let me take a quick drink real quick. Okay, this Keyblade. So, the effects that are coming off of this Keyblade are these like sort of spiral, almost flower looking things. It's clearly fire based. Okay, we get a good look at the Keyblade in this frame here. Okay, so a couple things. This is clearly a Keyblade that has something to do with fire. Um, the handle is sort of blue, so it could be ice or water. But the Keyblade effects are all fiery, and then we have this lava rock that is part of this finisher for this Keyblade combo. I think this is the Moana Keyblade. I'm like 90% sure this is the Moana World Keyblade because there's a big portion of Moana is this volcano. Um and I just think that's basically soft confirmed at this point. I don't see any way that that's not what this is. I think this basically, I mean, these effects that are popping out of the Keyblade scream Moana's art style to me. I think this is almost definitely the Keyblade that you get from the Moana world. So that would be my first bit of information from this gameplay. All right, we get more of the chains. So the Kingdom Key has this like chain mechanic. Also, there's no HUD in this trailer because this is not from the Switch 2 trailer. This is an HD trailer that was released separately on the Kingdom Hearts YouTube account. But we know a couple things about this portion of the combat. So during this section, there's a command menu down here. Actually, why don't I just go ahead and look up the Okay. Okay, so we've got this command menu on the bottom now. So this is part of the build system that we've known about for a little while. It's like kind of the big selling point of the combat in this game. So flowing edge, lava slash. You can see the water effects here in the command menu, and then you can see the like lava. This is so Moana coded. It's crazy. This is almost I'd bet serious money that this is the Moana Keyblade. Anyway, so what it looks like happens is they're in the normal command menu. You hit ZL or L2 to go into build, or you can probably go down into the actual command at the bottom there as well. And then it gives you different options. So I think the way that this works, you clearly have like two different attacks here. And when you use those attacks, you're sort of banking the attack and creating a new finisher based on how you build it. So there's like flowing edge and lava slash here. And then he gets that triangle finisher, Volcanon. You can see it says build with an exclamation point. And then he uses that finisher and then it creates it. So same here. We have Chain Raid and Star Ring. This is like the Kingdom Key stuff. And then Heart Barrage would be like the finisher that he built by using Chain Raid and Star Ring. It's all very interesting. Let's go back to. Yeah, we don't. Some of this stuff is going by too fast, like the reaction command. We don't really get to see what it says. But I think, yeah, it basically comes down to you have a build command with each Keyblade. It gives you some options as to basic attacks within that build command, like these, and then you build a finisher using those commands. That's my guess. Now I could be again completely off base here, but just based on the gameplay, that to me seems like what we're going to get. And then when you use a finisher, it sort of takes off a piece of your build gauge. So you sort of gather up your gauge here, and then when you use a finisher that you've built using your basic attacks using that ZL command, it takes a portion off of your gauge. That seems to be how it works. But again, I could be completely wrong. This combo is great. It looks snappy and fast. We get a barrier guard here, which is great. There's so much to this trailer. It's crazy. Yeah, that combo looks so nice. It's really snappy. It gets you to your target quickly, and then the actual combo itself is really snappy and happens fast. This guard looks great. Having like a 360 barrier guard in this game is going to be huge. Interestingly, we also have whatever this meter is above Sora's health bar, which is separate from the build meter. So we've got this build meter up here on the top of the command menu, and then we have this meter above Sora, which is just looks to be its own thing. So this could be like some sort of drive meter or shot lock or something like that. We don't know exactly, but this is clearly the meter that functions as part of the build system on top of the command menu. Oh man, this is so crazy. Also, can we talk about this mini map? This mini map looks sick. The fact that there is a minimap at all, and that Quadratum seems to be like a real, actual open world area is really interesting. I mean, we knew that that's how they wanted to design it. They've talked about how they want Quadratum to be like this hub world, but this looks insane. I mean, it looks like a full on. Looks like we have a compass style thing pointing you to your next objective, or maybe that's just north. Oh man, it just looks so sick. I cannot believe we got this during a direct of all places. Just so insane. Yeah, see how Darkseid has like this sort of sinewy darkness? I mean, we saw this in the original trailer. That's like how he came to being. That's just a very different style from the Heartless that we know. Of course, Sora going to protect the people. Wow. Wow. It's so crazy. Yeah. Available at launch on Nintendo Switch 2 and all platforms, which is insane. So yeah, man, I'm just super excited about the game. There's so much to this trailer to break down. I'm sure there's a lot that I missed. I'm gonna be watching other people's reactions to the trailer and seeing if they have some more insight into things that I didn't know about, theories that I didn't necessarily have, like about who these characters are and why they're here. So yeah, definitely go watch other people's videos as well. Bring your own theories together, and let's get excited, man. Kingdom Hearts 4, it's happening. Whether we get it next year or the year after, we're not sure yet. But this is really good news. The game is clearly very far into development, and we should just have a lot to be excited about with Kingdom Hearts. So, hope you guys enjoyed my analysis of the trailer. And yeah, get excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, man. It's coming. We'll see you next time.